Scott Campbell speaks to audiences the world over. He's known for his dynamic delivery, sense of humor, and his practical focus. He possesses a rare talent for making the complex simple, the theoretical practical, and the learning enjoyable.
We'd like to believe what Shakespeare said. What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in apprehension, how like a god. And the reality is more like this. The vast majority of people do not make important decisions primarily based on logic and rationality and good, solid evidence. They base it on emotion. Now, this is well researched. It's rooted in a concept that is called dual process thinking. Now, we all do this. We have two different ways that we access information and how we make decisions. These are two different processes that our brains use in deciding things. Let me demonstrate them for you very quickly. What is 2 plus 2? Now, at least most of you didn't have to think about that at all. You know, the answer just came to mind, 4. There was no conscious reflection. There was no effort. It was easy. The answer just came to you. Now, what is 17 times 34? Nothing is coming to mind unless you are, a savant of some type. You would have to sit down and either take out a calculator and cheat or actually do the old math, Correct, you win the prize. So. Yeah, now you had to work at that a little bit. That's a different way of thinking, where it's conscious, it's reflective, and it's effortful. System 1 and System 2 thinking. Now, System 1 is unconscious. It's automatic. It's very quick. It uses intuition. It generates impressions and feelings and inclinations. It neglects ambiguity and it suppresses doubt. In other words, it's biased to believe and then to confirm what it already believes. That's System 1, and we all use it, and in fact, you use it most of the time. It would be painful to always have to make conscious decisions about everything throughout the day. We operate on autopilot most of the time, and in most situations, it's reliable. But it is subject to a number of different biases.
In addition to keynoting, Scott is also a published author and frequent contributor to various leadership magazines. His books include Mind Games, 7 Tricks Your Brain Plays When Making Decisions, The Quick Guide to the 4 Temperaments for Peak Performance, Neuroengagement, Using Insights from Brain Science to Foster Employee Engagement, and 5D Leadership, Key Dimensions for Leading in the Real World, now translated into several languages.
Now, System 2 is very different. It's conscious, it takes effort, it's a bit slower, it uses logic, it's where we do abstract hypothetical thinking. Now, one of its jobs is to suppress System 1. We make an initial analysis and then we go, wait. System 2 has kicked in to say, okay, think about that again. Our Senate is supposed to be System 2, essentially. Sober second thought. It requires a lot of energy, however, and it tires very easily. That's why people don't make good decisions when they are tired. There was a study done about 4 years ago of 8 Israeli judges who have the responsibility for granting parole or not. And they typically have anywhere between 15 to 30 cases that are brought forward to them every day, and they have to say yes or no as to whether this inmate is granted parole. A very disturbing study was done on these 8 judges, following them over the course of several months and the decisions they made. And what was discovered was, at the start of the day, right after morning break, and right after lunch, you had a 65% chance of being granted parole. By the end of each of those sessions, it was almost 0. And I mean, the researchers looked at all possible different ways to explain this, and the only thing they could conclude was system 2 gets tired and system 1 takes over. And it's easier just to go denied than to have to do all the complex thinking that's required to release somebody early and on parole. Now that's kind of scary. So when you're last on the agenda at a meeting, you better not be addressing system 2 very much, because people are fatigued.
As a leadership expert, Scott has consulted with numerous organizations from a wide variety of sectors. Scott focuses his consulting practice on helping senior leaders make smart decisions in crisis or complex situations.
Now, the researchers, what they did was they had 2 different wines that were featured on a number of different days, but it was always a French bottle of wine and a German bottle of wine, and both of them were featured. They would be of similar quality, similar price, similar dryness, all those kinds of things. So there's no technical difference really between the 2 wines. One day, they would play traditional French music in the background. The other day, they would play traditional German music in the background. And they watched what people bought. And then they would go ask them afterwards to fill in a very brief questionnaire. And of course, one of the questions at the end was, do you think you were influenced at all by the music that was playing? Well, the vast majority of people didn't even notice there was music playing. But very interestingly, when French music was playing, 77% of people bought French wine. And when German music was playing, 73% of people bought German wine.
Scott would be delighted to discuss with you how he might help you and your organization. You can reach him either via email or through his website.